This week on Profiles, we meet Attorney Virginia Suarez, who has dedicated her life to defending the vulnerable and marginalized. The 51-year-old feminist lawyer packs a punch when it comes to standing up for the downtrodden, which she has been doing for over 2 decades. This image brings back memories of a crime that many of us may have forgotten: the brutal murder in a motel bathroom of transgender woman Jennifer Laude, whose perpetrator was 19-year-old U.S. Marine Joseph Scott Pemberton, who was then on leave of duty. But it's a case that will never be forgotten by Virgie, who, just a day after the murder, was on Jennifer's side. Why did you decide to take on this case?
Because the perpetrator is a U.S. soldier and the victim is a woman, a trans woman. First and foremost, because it's against the U.S. I am part of the many fact-finding missions involving the many harassments committed by the U.S. soldiers, especially in Mindanao.
Yeah, and this is a particularly historic case because 100 years na yung presence nila, no? And there have been many reports, even unreported incidents of rape, harassment.
Yes, and walang napaparusahan. The very first time that as a U.S. soldier was actually incarcerated, convicted and incarcerated or already serving the sentence.
Yes. And what a dramatic turn of events. What are the things that really stick to your mind when you remember that whole time, that period?
Yeah, it's the abuse of the superior strength committed by Pemberton. Pag tiningnan natin, si Jennifer Laude, ang hawak lang niya, brushes, rollers, nag-aayos ng buhok nagpa-parlor. But the military, like Pemberton, ang hawak niyan, di ba? Armalite, machine gun, or lahat ng gamit na panggera. So immediately, when Pemberton made use of arm lock, which he admitted before the court that he arm locked Jennifer Laude, you need a special training to learn to do arm lock.
It's a mixed martial arts move Virgie learned to do through Marine training in order to better understand the perpetrator. This method of immersion, of getting into the skin of her clients, is a strength she takes into every case. It gave her an edge in seeking justice for the Laude family.
I stayed with the Laude for more than 3 months, from October up until before the actual trial. I'd like to understand them. I'd like to know them very well.
She realized she had to prepare them for an uphill battle.
Mahirap kasi si nanay, grade 2. Medyo mahirap pag sa loob ng korte. Dahil lahat doon, English. It's so harassing for the family to be inside the court. Yung bang tipong nasa loob ka ng korte ng Pilipinas, pero ilan lang yung Pilipino dahil mas marami ang mga Amerikano at mas marami ang mga sundalong Amerikano. When I presented nanay, I have to make a motion that I be allowed to conduct my direct examination in Tagalog. Kasi wala naman akong pakialam kung hindi ako maintindihan ng iba. Kahit pa ng mga sundalong Amerikano. May pakialam ako sa kliyente ko at kailangan maintindihan ako ni Nanay Julita.
It's amazing, and you really have become family. They've become family to you also.
Si Nanay, ang tawag niya kay Jennifer ay talagang ganda. Everyone calls Jennifer ganda. So si Nanay, nagulat ako. Nanay, immediately called me ganda. And then nasabi ko, ha? And then sabi niya, kasi parang ikaw yung pinadala dito para at least maramdaman namin na nandyan din si Jennifer.
Naglalaban para sa buhay ni Jennifer.
Kaya, ayun. And since then, nanay called me ganda.
At ito rin ang title ng documentary based on Jennifer's life, called Her Ganda.
Yes.
Screened at this year's Cinemalaya Film Festival, Call Her Ganda is a documentary by film director and LGBTQ advocate PJ Raval, who was inspired to tell the story of the Jennifer Laude case after hearing Virgie speaking passionately about it. The documentary follows the women whose lives intertwine throughout the trial until the Philippine court reaches its final verdict. How did you feel about the final verdict?
It's not a perfect or complete justice, but I am happy about it. A U.S. soldier was convicted and incarcerated. I am happy about that dahil ang tagal na.
Wala ba kayong head? O paano ako papasok dito? Meron akong papareceive dun sa loob. Okay mga kasama, nandito tayo to formally serve, no? Itong subpoena.
When I was handling this case, I gave everything.
Yeah.
So, When I said it's all of me for Jennifer, I mean every single word of that.
Sinubaybayan niya talaga kami, hindi lang sa kaso, na walang kapalit na iba. Kumbaga bukal sa loob yung pagtulong sa amin. Lalo pa kaming tumibay na i-go, na wag huminto, ilaban natin hanggang sa makuha natin yung justice.
Even before its local screening, Call Her Ganda won awards in the international documentary film circuit, including the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. For Virgie, one of the most valuable rewards is revealing to the world a side of the Philippine-US relationship that has long been overlooked.
As Virgie says in the film, this isn't a simple case of murder, right? In order to understand what happened, you also need to understand the relationship between the United States and the Philippines. Jennifer is also symbolic of what happens when people see something that they don't agree with and they want to have their voices heard and they want to make change in their society.
This case really needs to be told over and over because there are so many issues that intertwined in this case. The relationship between the US and the Philippines, and of course, the issues surrounding the LGBT, and of course, the mother-daughter relationship.
After immersing yourself in the life of Jennifer, how do you feel about the turn of events that led to her murder?
I became even more understanding of the struggle of the LGBT. When you're part of the LGBT community, it's like immediately you're a sex worker.
Basta you're sexualized. It's all about sex.
It's all about sex. And it is wrong. Yeah. I mean, they are human. They are people. In fact, Jennifer Laude is such a very loving daughter, loving sister, very caring, very hardworking.
The defense says that this is a crime of passion, you know, that it was because the American Marine Pemberton, hindi niya alam na transgender woman si Jennifer. So this is a crime of passion. It was his defense.
That is an alibi, no? Ano yung sinasabi niyang defense of honor? Anong honor niya bilang sundalo ang na-violate? Nagpunta nga siya dun eh. Willing siyang magbayad for sex.
Oh, so this is about human rights.
Yes. Yeah. Yung pagtingin niya doon sa tao, yung pagtingin niya kay Jennifer bilang tao.
Even after her brutal death, few saw Jennifer for who she was. It took Nanay Julita to remind the people in court that beyond the gruesome circumstances of her death, Jennifer was her daughter.
When I presented Nanay, I need to ask that question eh. Nanay, magkano ang halaga pangtapat sa lahat ng danyo, sa lahat ng naramdaman mo na sama ng loob at hirap, Nanay, sa pagkawala ni Jennifer? Ang sagot ni Nanay, walang halagang katapat, walang perang sasapat. Sabi niya. Dahil may isang parte ng buhay ko na habang buhay, hindi na maibabalik. But I still needed then to ask, Nanay, magkano? Nagulat ako dahil si Nanay, tumingin siya doon sa mga lawyers. And then, sabi niya, ikaw attorney, pag pinatay ang anak mo, magkano mong gustong bayaran? That answer brought the entire court in silence. That answer, that question, even brought many people inside the court in teary-eyed. I myself...
It's making me teary-eyed now just thinking of it.
I mean, that is part of the scene that I could not forget. Why? Nanay ako. Hindi ko rin maisip na pag namatay yung anak ko, ang pag-uusapan na lang, pera. Suddenly, that made things for me entirely different. If at first I handled it because the perpetrator is a U.S. soldier, at that moment, all the more that I became even more determined in handling the case because I am a mother. Yeah. And I can feel exactly what Nanay felt when she lost Jennifer.
Yung lahat ng pangarap mo, siya ang tumubos.
Dumating yung SWAT team, pinatawag ng management, dumating yung SWAT team, at tinutukan ako ng barel sa sintido.
Leading up to her role as counsel in Jennifer Laude's murder trial, Virgie Suarez spent more than 2 decades defending the most vulnerable in our legal system, laborers, farmers, fisherfolk, women and children, sectors whose everyday lives aren't unfamiliar to her.
I also came up from a very poor family. I struggled to be able to finish high school. Mas mahirap pa pag college. I was able to finish all my studies because of scholarship. Were it not for the scholarship, I don't think I'll be able to study. Yes, scholar ako, but then tagahugas ako ng pinggan sa school para makakain.
It was an unfortunate event in her own family's life, though, that set the course of her career.
My youngest brother, na-involved siya na nakasagasa. Tapos, it's a reckless imprudence resulting to homicide. Nung hirap kaming kumuha ng lawyer, tapos yung lawyer, ang sasabihin na lang, aminin na lang. Siyempre, parang hindi ako makapayag, di naman pumatay ang kapatid ko. Immediately, I told myself, I will become a lawyer. And when I become a lawyer, I will help and I will use my profession only to help the poor, only to serve the masses.
As frontliner and defender of the marginalized, going up against big businesses and powerful institutions is part of her job. Inevitably, she's had to risk a lot to stand up for the rights of her clients, even her life.
Nandyan ako sa picket, nandyan ako sa rally, natutulog ako sa picket line. At one time, sa gitna ng rally, nagsasalita ako. Dumating yung SWAT team at tinutukan ako ng barel sa sintido. That experience, I cannot also forget that. I told myself, this is it. Mamamatay ako ngayong oras na ito. Looking at my clients then, not one of them was able to move. Una ko naisip, kung ako nga abogado na kaya niyong gawin to. Higit pa dyan, kaya niyong gawin sa mga manggagawa. But I could not move. Yeah. I was just waiting na ituloy nung SWAT yung pagbaril sa akin. Yeah. So after that, palagay ko, 1 buwan, 2 buwan, 3 buwan, araw-araw umiiyak ako.
But instead of silencing her in fear, the threat to her life toughened her stance.
That even made me stronger and even more determined to handle the causes or the cases of the workers.
Ang dami niyong pinagdaanan. What would you say are the biggest realizations you've had about our society and culture by helping the marginalized?
There is no access to justice. Kapag mahirap ka, imposible. Napakahirap. Why? It's a long, tedious, and expensive process. Maraming mga gagawa na pipilitang makipag-ayos dahil lang sa hindi nila kaya yung laban. Sino mang gagawa? Yung tinanggal na sa trabaho, walang kita, tatagal ng 5 taon. Only the management can do that. Legal case is the arena of the management, not of the workers.
I'm so proud of her. Through all of her, yung pinagdaanan niya, I've learned to be an independent, a strong woman. You need to earn your strength, your capabilities, your knowledge on your own because that's your own treasure. That's how you live in the reality.
That's why I give my best, I give my all whenever I handle the case because if I don't win it, I don't get paid. Yung mga kliyente ko, syempre, na-appreciate nila yung ginagawa ko. Ay, ang dala nila, monay. Minsan monay, yung isa nagdala ng ensaymada. Minsan, ang isa ang dala ay chicharon. Yung isa, hindi ka malimutan kasi yung nanay, leader yun ng union, inabutan niya ako ng 20 pesos. For someone to give you 20 pesos, di ba, sa isang lawyer, palagay ko, kumuha din yun ng lakas ng loob para ibigay, no? Palagay ko, siya rin na nahihiya. Kaya ang sabi ko sa kanya, naitabi mo na yung 20 pesos. Pero, pag nakalimang hearing ako, may 100 na ako sa inyo. Pag 100 na yan, Nay, ibigay mo na yan sa akin. Tatanggapin ko na yan. Pero ngayon, sama niyo muna, isa pang ulam niyo.
With Virgie on their side, the powerless in our daunting judicial system have a shot at justice. She's exactly the defender they need in times like ours, when they are most under threat.
Punta ka sa kalye, sipulan ka, that is so harassing. But ang pinaka nakakaharas at nakakabastos, if these harassing words come from the president. inisip ko na dapat may library din to. So parang coffee shop library. Kaya all these books are for inside reading.
House of Justice, a cozy little coffee shop in the middle of Mandaluyong, is where attorney Virgie Suarez lets it all hang loose. It's a place she set up to house her many passions. What I love about this place, you also offer free consultations, right? Tell us about that. People are welcome to come here.
Yeah, everyone is welcome to come here. Monday, it's Women's Day. And the Wednesday, for the workers. I love the workers.
Yeah. Here, she hopes that people who come in, especially women, will find a safe haven away from a toxic environment, made even more dangerous by a culture of misogyny and fear. Last International Women's Day, March 8, nag-activity kayo no, around the Philippines.
Yes.
To make a statement on this, what exactly was your message then?
This administration really...
Speechless. It's very difficult for women.
Yes.
Parang kung outspoken ka.
It's you know, every day is a raging day for every woman.
Yeah.
Every single day, a woman is being harassed. Every day, a woman is being assaulted. No, in so many ways, in so many forms.
Kung ready na po kayo, ito na. Ano, sayawin mo daw eh.
Pepe, ipepe, idede, idede, ipe, ide, ipede, release mo.
Like for example, yung sinabi ko, nagbinibiro lang, hinipuan na ganon. Will they be liable? You said yes. The answer is, I think it's no.
Lumabas ka lang sakali. Yung ang dami-daming mga billboards na ang sexy nung itsura, punta ka sa kalye, sipulan ka, that is so harassing. But ang pinaka nakakaharas at nakakabastos, if these harassing words come from the president.
I do not do it in public if there is malice. I would pull the woman's down somewhere along the empty halls.
Yung pinaghirapan ko, yung values ng mga anak ko. And then all of a sudden, okay naman magmura ma. Look at the president. Yun, yung pagtingin sa babae na mababa, yung pagtingin sa babae na babae ka lang, yung pagtingin sa babae na you're just a sex.
Oo.
Diba? Na ang katuturan mo lang sa buhay mo ay sex, kama. I mean, I cannot...
This
hindi ko
leads
yan
to
kaya.
violence against women.
Yes!
This is why...
That is oppression against women. Diba? That is the height of the violence against women by the president.
Sabi ko, pag galit ako, pabaril ko yung ninyo.
There are so many women who remain in a very abusive relationship simply because they think they cannot afford to get out of that relationship because they are economically dependent. Women are being confined, di ba, sa bahay. Tagalaba, tagahugasan. Pagkatapos, dinadanas mo na yon, tapos makakarinig ka pa ng ganoong pangungutya, pamabastos, panlulait sa presidente. It's a raging day, and I will keep on raging. But more than raging, I will keep on acting, standing up, even against the president.
In a statement for Kaisaka, you said that to continue to assert women's rights and welfare in these troubled times is a challenge, especially since alongside a culture that normalizes misogyny is a palpable culture of fear and passivity as a result of weaponizing the war against drugs against the poor and downtrodden, including women and children. Can you explain that?
Yes. Poverty is really related to drugs. Kapag mahirap, pag walang trabaho, talagang saan mapupunta? Sa drugs, mapupunta sa prostitution. Magkakakonekta ang mga bagay na yan. Ang dapat talagang gawin ng administrasyon na ito o ng gobyerno, tiyakin na may trabaho, tiyakin na may pagkakakitaan ang lahat, lalo na ang mga kababaihan. Binastos ka dahil babae ka.
Yeah.
Hindi ka tinanggap dahil babae ka. Ayun, I mean, kaya double whammy, no? Triple whammy ang isang babae.
So it's still a big fight for us
Yes,
now.
it is. And I am so happy, even if it's a raging day, you know, even if I am enraged, I am equally inspired too. Why? Because it is women who are fighting against this administration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morales, di ba? Sereno, De Lima. It's all women. Even the president, I mean, feels so insecure that Di ba? Hindi niya matanggap na kababaihan na lumalaban sa kanya. It is the women who are standing up against him.
In these times na maraming natatakot, there's a lot of divisiveness. It's really a different time now. What's your message sa, let's say, sa mga kababaihan, even the marginalized?
Una, huwag tayong matakot at lalo huwag tayong mawala ng pag-asa. I mean, umasa tayo dun sa may goodness natin sa loob. We do the right thing. We do not simply do things right. Regardless of what, despite everything, still we do the right thing. At kapag maganda at mabuting ginagawa natin, there's no reason for us to be afraid. Kapag ang nanaig sa'yo ay yung pagpapahalaga mo lang sa sarili mong interes, ay takot ka. Diba? Yung hindi mga material na bagay ang makakapagpaganda sa atin. Diba? Ito yung nasa loob natin, ito yung ginagawa natin. We are what we do when no one sees us. Hindi kailangan ng camera, hindi kailangan bayaran, hindi kailangan ng lahat. But that's me.
In these troubled times of tyranny, fear, disinformation, and injustice, Virgie is a bright beacon of hope, strength, fortitude, and integrity for our country. She reminds us that building a better world begins with selflessness, kindness, and respect.